Portia lacking receipts, the grand opening and grand closing of the chicken joint, and Shamia bringing her mommy to fight her battles. Let's get into the latest episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta. What's up, y'all? It's your girl V with Reality Recap here for another Tea Talk session. And today we are covering the latest episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta, season 17, episode 2. And what an episode it was. The girls are even having some of their highest rated episodes, and we're only 2 episodes in. This season is really already starting to give what it needs to give. Before we get into it, let's take care of some business. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. What you see here at the bottom of the screen, reality_recap. And subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's coming across the bottom of the screen, Reality Recap 2876. Make sure you like this video, share it, and subscribe. And hit those alerts so you don't miss any of my Tea Talk sessions, whether pre-recorded or live. The live sessions are a whole lot of fun where you can come in, comment, and give your thoughts. All right. Now let's get into this episode. We start the episode with Portia. She meets with Kelly and K Michelle. And already in my mind, I'm saying, all right, we're going to get into whatever this interview that Kelly did that Portia didn't like, that she was saying, you know what, her dinner party wasn't the appropriate place to address it, but that don't think it's over with. She was going to get at her. So I already figured that was coming. So they sit down, they're talking about Drew having this man, Black, in her phone on this dinner date for over 3 hours, that he literally stayed on FaceTime over 3 hours. You know, Drew is now using her 3,000 minutes for a new person, no longer Ty, but she had Black on the phone, who is like a hookah tycoon or something in Atlanta. But Kay spills the tea that Black has been in her DMs and saying things like, "Oh, you so fine." I don't know if we're gonna come back around to that. I hope we do. Maybe that's part of this ongoing beef with Drew and K Michelle, but we'll have to see. Now, I will say it's been a lot of back and forth on the internet. K Michelle did an interview. She sat down with Jason Lee and she really was coming hard at Drew. She didn't like that Drew in the first episode said that she didn't know her or didn't know K Michelle. K Michelle made it clear that she's been touring all over the world. She has platinum, gold records and albums. And she said that Drew only got 10,000 streams and that ain't a beginner, that's a loser, honey. Okay, then Drew went on the internet and also said that she posted a video of her when she was in the TLC movie. And a lot of y'all was saying y'all didn't know that was Drew playing T-Boz in the TLC movie. But yes, that was Drew. Maybe I know it because I'm a big fan of the game and we know Drew Sidora from the game. So that's why I put it together. But yeah, a lot of you were saying you didn't know that that was Drew. But basically, she posted herself at the TLC movie premiere and that K Michelle was there and K Michelle was being interviewed and she spoke about TLC. So that necessarily didn't prove that K Michelle actually knew Drew before this season. It's more so K Michelle was there because the movie was about TLC. So she ended up deleting that story. Maybe a lot of people were saying like, this is not a receipt, girl. This is not proving anything, but she ended up deleting the IG story afterwards. But you know, I caught it before she deleted it. So it's posted on my social media platforms if you want to take a look. Also, in this sit down, Kay tells the team, you know, she tells everyone that she has a performance coming up in Nashville at the, I think the CMA, not the CMA Awards per se. I don't know if it was the awards, if it was like something happening, like an honors show, but she had a performance there that she would be traveling to. Portia talks to Kelly about the interview, and the interview was actually the after show. So it was an after show from the previous season. Y'all know the girls, they're broken up into groups of like 2 or 3, and they do the after show commentary of the episodes. And in that clip, Kelly said that Portia needs to stop trying to sleep with everybody's husband, which is something she's always been saying. And to be honest, it's like Kelly has so much going on in her life. Why don't we focus on that? It's giving because you are tied up in lawsuits and gag orders and can't film with all your children because of your estranged husband, that your divorce is still dragging on. You try to poke fun at whoever has any controversy or anything like that. And it's like, girl, that's old. She done got married and divorced, and you still trying to get divorced. But I also don't like how Kelly always says these things in confessionals or interviews, but never to Portia's face. So they went for a little tit for tat, and I'm gonna be honest, Portia threw me for a loop because she seemingly wanted to get back at Kelly and what Kelly has said about her in that interview. And she starts bringing up that Kelly allegedly slept with a married man as well. And but she don't have no receipts. And it was a very confusing story. She was like saying, "Oh, well, my friend that I was hanging out with was on the phone with a man, and the man heard that my friend was with me. So he started telling me that he had you in the bed, and that while y'all was in the bed, you was talking about me and Dennis." Huh? It got very, very confusing very, very fast. I ain't gonna lie. I was like, what is really going on here? And I guess that's why, because on this episode, we'll talk about it a little bit later, how um Kelly had the grand opening of her second location of Nana's Chicken and Waffles. But in in the comment section before the episode aired, Dennis saw a clip of the episode and the grand opening or whatever, and he commented saying, "Damn, was this the opening for the one that's already closed? Yikes." And Kelly responded to him saying, "I see why your baby mama likes girls now. Bye, Demisha." Both of them ate, if you ask me. It was funny. It it kind of went viral, but I guess he felt the way where Kelly said, "Well, if I'm in a bed with a guy, I would not be thinking about Dennis or Portia. Like, have you seen Dennis lately?" And they put a picture up of him. So she was trying to come at his looks, but it's like, Kelly, have you seen your estranged husband lately, girl? You not want to talk. Okay. Just being honest. But yeah, Portia had this really strange story that didn't make any sense. And it was kind of, she then said, "Well, I don't have the text messages or the information, but I'll get it for you." So she had no receipts. It didn't seem like credible information. I don't know if Portia was just trying to prove a point of you're going around saying something without having any receipts. Um, we kind of do have some receipts. You did with Simon somewhat, but it's okay. It's okay. Portia can do no wrong in my eyes. But I just felt like, Portia, girl, I love you, but you ain't had not one receipt the first. You can't do that. So I didn't believe that information. So Kelly seemingly got upset. They went back and forth over that. But then they ended up fake apologizing to each other and hugging and motorboating Kelly. So I thought it was over. I didn't think it was cemented over, but it was like, I guess this is over for now, because Kelly still, you could see in her face, she didn't like what Portia said. And we were all like, K Michelle the whole time sitting there like, why am I in the middle of this? Like, what's going on? And I was so confused, just like K Michelle. Like, Portia's story really made zero sense to me. um, we then see Kelly meet with Shamia and Angela, and she tells them that, she's upset because her husband had just did the interview with Tasha K, where he was alleging Kelly stole his recipes, saying she's paying him out to be the bad guy. He was telling his side, quote unquote, of the story. So she was upset about that, but she's also telling Shamia and Angela about her restaurant. and how she's trying to get it open, but she already owes 100,000 in back rent because Kelly had this location, although it wasn't open for some time. Like we saw her in the previous season trying to get construction done and get it open because she was already paying rent or was supposedly supposed to pay rent. Not sure what happened in the divorce with with the husband, but the rent wasn't being paid. So I reported on this some time ago, well over a year ago, I think at this point, that she had a lawsuit out there for the back rent. There was lawsuit for credit cards, with like the Navy credit union and things like that, unpaid credit card bills. So I just don't understand it. I'm really confused why move forward with opening a restaurant if you already have a thriving location. Why not pour into that instead of trying to open a second location that's already in debt? Previously reported a few months ago on the fact that there's also a man suing her, alleging that he provided her around $50,000 for her to get the restaurant, the second location opening, get it open. So I'm just assuming that that lawsuit is tied to the money she gave to the um the Sandy Springs location for the back rent because she mentioned in the episode that she was like 100,000 in back rent owed, and she gave 50,000 towards it to try, to open up and get things going. So I'm just assuming that money that she paid was borrowed or it's something tied to this lawsuit where she borrowed money to try to get it open. And furthermore, confused that you are open this location already in debt, yet we see you in all this couture, signature body Range Rover. Last season we see you giving out, I think 16 or 17 purses, designer purses to your daughter, um, glam squads, paying $1,000 for dog grooming and dyeing his hair. Like, why are it's always giving, and we see this a lot on the Housewives where there's a front of acting like they have this money. And I get it. It's like an internal investment. They're putting themselves on this show, portraying this lifestyle of a rich housewife. And in turn, they're looking for or waiting for money to come back from that, bigger checks each season. They're on partnerships, brand deals, things like that to kind of compensate for what they've already put themselves in debt for. But when you have a business tied to it, it just doesn't seem smart to me. So, the restaurant that we saw her grand opening on this episode is actually already closed, and she put out a very lengthy statement after the episode, which we'll get into in a minute. But yeah, it was just confusing, hearing the debt that she's in for this location. Why would you open it? And that's why I want to talk a little bit, and maybe we just talk about it now. Like, even with the announcement that she put up, it was like she was blaming the location as far as like signage and location and where it is. So it was like, but you didn't know this before you opened it. Who's advising you? If you were open a second location as a business person, I would expect you to know upfront what needs to happen as far as, okay, this location needs to be at level of my first location, or if not better. And kind of looking at, can we see this from off the road? Is this a good place? Is there parking? Yada, yada, yada. Like, no one's questioning the food. I hear the food is amazing. I hear her chicken, her waffles, whatever else she's serving is amazing. It's not the food, but I would just expect her to be a little bit more business savvy, or at least who is she working with on this that would be helping her with that. That's kind of what I'm looking for. So, yeah, I'm not sure why she even did that, but Kelly also tells Angela and Shamia about her sit down with Portia. And at this point, she seems she's still upset, although they did somewhat discuss it and apologize there. She's telling Shamia and Angela what happened, and she's calling Portia, which she didn't do to her face. So this is what I'm saying. Like Kelly, and I said that even in her first season on, where she says a lot in confessionals and not to anyone's face. She even did that with Angela, with talking about her investment properties, but then when she sees her to her face, she's complimenting her and everything she's wearing and doesn't address the things that she said. So you got to have that same energy, cuz that's a downfall. Ask Angel over at Real Housewives of Potomac. You have to bring that same energy you bring it into the confessionals. Don't be a confessional gangster, but then can't say it to nobody's face. So I didn't like that. And even Shamia was like, "You said that to her?" And she's like, "No, I didn't say it to her, but I'm telling y'all." Like, even Shamia, no, I know that didn't fly if you had actually said it. Shamia know better. Shamia know better. She was like, "You said that to her face?" She's like, "No, but I'm telling y'all." So it was just, I'm not really feeling Kelly this season. I'm really not. If she don't start saying this stuff to Portia's face and whoever else face she got something to say about, I'm not a fan of that at all. We then go to Kelly's event, and Angela apologizes. And the event I'm talking about is the grand opening of the chicken spot. Angela apologizes to Phaedra for last season and accusing her of sending those people to Kelly's event to, ambush her about whatever Charles doing in the streets. And also, accusing her of meeting up with somebody named Junebug or something to give information in an envelope about her. She seems to have checked her sources and realizes that, and I told y'all that last season when I was recapping, because that same guy that showed up there, one of them reached out to me and they started a podcast off of. They were trying to get their 15 minutes of fame. I ain't gonna, I mean, he's a great supporter of my page, but it was giving not actual factual. So she finally gives Phaedra an apology, and they want to move forward, and already calling each other friends by the time by the time this episode is over. And I'm sorry, that didn't happen at Kelly's event yet. We're at Drew's movie premiere. Drew was in a little Tubi alien movie, and Portia and Angela were there. Not the whole cast. The whole cast was not invited. It was more so, I think it was Portia, Angela, Phaedra that were invited. Portia introduced them to Sway. She called her lady friend that she's dating. She's dating a man and a woman, or seemingly at this point just dating Sway. So she said out with the old and with the new. And that's why I told you I wasn't investing in all the nonsense they were saying about that guy Mike, and he doing videos saying that he was paid to do it, lying, just doing skits and nonsense. I'm not even going to invest in him because we're not going to see him long. We saw him the one episode. He was arm candy for the dinner, and now we're on to Sway. So she brought Sway to the movie premiere, and Drew seemed a little mad about that. Like, wait a minute, you were bringing your lady friend, and I could have just claimed Ty. No, Drew, you can't claim Ty. You still going through a divorce, and you're losing right now. You're losing. Did y'all check out my recap of Drew's temporary order that was updated? Ralph will no longer be in the basement as of May 31st. He was awarded that he can now come out of the basement and have free reign of the home, and that Drew has to get out as of May 31st. It seemed like the judge is not playing with her at all. She lost full physical custody of the children. That's granted to Ralph now, because the courts say that based on school records, the two children she shares with Ralph have been late to school up to 20 to 29 times in one school year. She also failed to take the children to the court ordered counseling sessions, where the counselor had to write a warning letter saying that it's been too hard to schedule the appointments, and that they sent the warning and then eventually said they were no longer going to work with her. So instead of getting Ralph to help then and making sure he had this order where he couldn't come out the basement until his days with the children and she left the house, now she's lost full of physical custody and has to be out of the home by May 31st. So if you want to break down of the temporary order, news broke after that she went back to court begging the judge to reverse the order, saying that she can't afford to move out, or nor does she have enough time to find a new home by May 31st. In the temporary order, it says that she makes about 12,000 a month, while Ralph, which I told y'all has a great job, makes about 27,000 a month. But you can get all of that in the video. We'll see if the judge is going to grant her more time, if they're going to allow her to go down in the basement. I don't know, but it's the house is in Ralph's name, and if she got to get out, she's going to have to get out. But we'll see if the judge has any sympathy on her. She's using her oldest son, the one that's not with Ralph, saying that they both will be homeless, although when I spoke to Attorney Simone in the recap, she said that the child wouldn't be affected there, resident, and could stay there unless Ralph doesn't want the child there, which we see how Ralph cares about those children. I don't think that's true. So, you know, only my thoughts, but I think Drew misrepresents her earnings. Just my thoughts and allegations. I do not believe she only makes 12,000 a month. Unless she's like doing the math of only getting paid when Real Housewives of Atlanta is airing and she's spreading that out. But all the movies we've seen her in, she's at a movie premiere here. She put out a whole music album. I just feel like she's misrepresenting her income. I do. So that in the hopes that she can stay in that home or get some type of alimony or child support from Ralph, which is going to be hard now that he has physical custody of the kids. So I'm not sure her end game here. But, we saw in the divorce filings previously when I recapped what was going on with Drew and Ralph that she also sometimes, it looks like I'll say allegedly, files unemployment when she's not filming for Real Housewives of Atlanta. So I don't know. I feel like Drew be doing some backhanded dealings. We know that was also in the divorce filings where Ralph's lawyer was saying, hey, she's moving money or she's closing. She removed his name off of a business LLC, which when you are in a divorce, there's no moving of the funds. It's frozen until it's all figured out. So she was like opening up new LLCs out in California or other states. I just don't believe that that's all she makes a month. So we'll hopefully she won't be in no more hot water for that. And we'll see what the judge says. But yeah, Drew was like, Dad, you done brought your lady friend up here and I could have brought mine. Dang. I could have kept the tie around and had her here instead of having Black in the daggone cell phone. You could have dated both, just like just like Portia doing. But I don't know. Did y'all catch that? She seemed like a little upset. Like, dang, why didn't I do that? Also at the movie premiere, Angela tells Portia that she knows what happened with Portia and Kelly, and she tells Portia that Kelly called her Portia. And Portia seems thrown off by it because she's like, oh, she's spilling her own tea that I said she slept with a married man. And oh, she's calling me that, but she didn't say it to my face. We apologized and left. I thought it was over. So she's like, all right. So now hearing that, she's saying she ain't going to the chicken shack grand opening. She ain't going. She gonna stay out of it. So I was like, dang, Angela told so quick, didn't she? She told that information quick. I said, okay, new bone collector, bone carrier. She took Sheree's spot real quick. But she told so fast. We then get into the movie theater, and I said, Drew, I know daggone well you ain't have these cameras and all this hoopla of your castmates coming for you to get killed the first 35 minutes into the movie. Huh? Got killed by that fake alien less than 35 minutes into the movie, and you had a whole camera crew come up there like, stop playing. Y'all let me know if any of y'all seen that movie on Tubi because I don't go on Tubi. I just can't with the movies and the production. It be so low budget sometimes. But y'all tell me if y'all saw the movie. Is the movie with the aliens and Drew good? Because I didn't see it. Last we get to Kelly's chicken event. for her restaurant that's in debt. And again, that restaurant location is now closed. And Shamia shows up with her mom. Shamia is so whack to me. I mentioned this on the recap with Bravo, We're Black, with Kaya and Aaron, where I just feel like everything she does seem like, even in her regular life or on social media, like every time she's at a game or something, or she's around people, is always a lot of gotta dance, and they're like always trying to people please instead of just showing up as herself. Even in this episode when she did the plunge and she's singing, "Oh, can't say, can't you see?" Like everything's so performative. I just don't care for her. And then to see her show up with her mom at this event, it's like she thought Portia was going to be there, I think. But she shows up there with her mom to like fight her battles. And I don't know if that's what she was looking to do, but she knew her mom was going to jump in it. And for her mom to come in there and speaking to everybody and saying, if anybody be mean to my daughter this season, I'm going to get my paddle out. Girl, you upwards of 40 years old. You can still got your mama fighting your battles. That's so corny to me. It was terrible, but Angela and Phaedra at the event announced that they've made up and that they're friends, and Shamia seems mad about it. She's like, well, when I tried sweeping things under the rug with Portia last season, y'all was telling me, no, we couldn't do that because they didn't sweep nothing under the rug, Shamia. They actually were two grown women that had a conversation. They hashed it out and apologized and moved forward. You are the one that struggled to just tell Portia how you were feeling, or instead of making up nonsense from years ago about her not wanting you to be on the show, which she already done read you for filth on the reunion, you should have been there supporting her as she was going through this divorce with this petty man. You didn't do that. So they had a conversation. Don't compare apples to oranges. And she don't know that this happened because you wasn't invited to the movie premiere because you don't like you. So that's why you don't know about it. But Portia skips the event and she calls and sends flowers. Kelly picks up the phone saying, like, are you really happy for me? Because why aren't you here? You're sending flowers. It's given, she said something about broken or unhealed, something stupid. And Portia was like, okay, that's the energy we on. Cool. Well, enjoy your event. She could care less. So Kelly like, I don't need no flowers. I need you to come here and buy some chicken. You need a whole lot of chicken wings sold for all that money you owe, girl. Portia's 1 meal ain't gonna help. But Shamia then teases Drew as they're leaving the event, saying she wants to see Drew's movie and congratulations, even though she wasn't invited. And Drew says, like, we're not in the best place. We left off in a bad place last season after the reunion. You did your half apology YouTube video that Drew poked fun at in her confessional, which I saw Shamia said something in an interview about her poking fun at her apology, saying, oh, she's a great actress, even in her life. You know, she lies about everything. You said that last season, boo. Find something else. But they are, having, and it wasn't even a bad conversation. It was kind of like, well, yeah, we're not in the best place. I don't know where we are or where we move forward. And Shamia Moms jumps into it. And I could have swore I heard the organ playing in the background, but her mom jumps into it and telling them, that's the devil coming in between them, binding in the name of Jesus. And it was just, I just don't know if Shamia had her mom there to jump in her battles or advocate for her as if she couldn't do it for herself. Drew was very respectful of her mom and what she had to say. And she spoke her piece. And they will agree to disagree and we'll see where their friendship goes from here. But it was just weird at this grown age to have your mom there to fight your battles. It just made me look at Drew even more sideways, like, what are you doing? And at the end of the episode, we go and we see K Michelle's performance. And then after the performance, she ends up in the hospital and she talks about the infection in her backside. Kay has been very open about the fact that she had surgeries in the past, and it's not even the plastic surgeries that she had. She had illegal butt injections, where she injected silicone in her butt to make it bigger. And doing that, we've seen the horror stories. She's one of them, experiencing pain in her legs, the silicone traveling throughout her body, and she's had multiple surgeries to try to remove it. And from one of her recent surgeries, removing the silicone, she got an infection in one of the, I guess, incision sites. So she was able to get through the performance and did well. She said she didn't even feel anything, but she sat down and like the whole couch was soaked, and they dried her clothes frantically, and she went out there and sung, but then went to the hospital. Um yeah, I think Kay is a breakout star this season. She's funny in her confessionals. We already know she can say whatever she's feeling to anybody's face. We already know that about Kay. We're seeing the dynamic with her marriage, moving into a new home, trying to have a baby. She wants a baby girl. And then seeing her, it seems like we're going to see her story, how she's been struggling for quite some time with these illegal butt injections. So she's showing up as her authentic self. I'm enjoying it. Again, her commentary is hilarious. She has the funniest confessionals so far. And yeah, congratulations to the girls. As I mentioned at the beginning of this, like they're experiencing very high ratings for this season so far. They had a season high. It says for episode 2, they had almost like over a million viewers, a season high for them. So congratulations to the girls. I'm enjoying this season. I hope you guys are watching. Tell me your thoughts in the comments. But that is my tea on Real Housewives of Atlanta season 17, episode 2. So before I get out of here, let's take care of business one more time. Make sure you follow me on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. And I always forget, but I am active on Threads. I also, during the episodes, I give you my live thoughts over on Threads. So follow me there too. At all of my platforms is what you see here at the bottom of the screen. Reality, REALITEA_recap. And subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like this video, share it, and subscribe. It's Reality Recap 2876. It's linked in the bio on all my social media platforms for you to easily access. And set your alerts so you don't miss any of my Tea Talk sessions. Now, as I always say before I end my Tea Talks, reality TV stars are humans too. Let's not forget that. It's your girl V with Reality Recap. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all evening. Peace.